Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. I'm excited today to be making a card. I haven't been able to do a video in a couple days. I had planned to do a couple videos this week, but things were really hectic with work. And it was one of those things where I worked all day and then I brought work home with me, and it was just a really hectic week trying to stay on top of everything. Hopefully, you will enjoy today's video, which is an encouragement card, and I'm going to be using a stamp set from Maymay Made It called Do Not Worry. This is a really cute set. It has a lot of really cute sentiments on it, and I'm going to be giving you a close-up now in case you're wondering what's all on this stamp set. It says, pray about it, do not worry about it. Do not forget, I am here for you. Do not be discouraged. Do not be afraid. Do not worry. And then there's a scripture for inside of your card. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. Philippians 4:7. It also says, hold, and I think that is, do not hold, I'm not really sure what you were supposed to use that one for. Do not hold onto fear. That's right. I knew it was something. Sort of a pun, like a play on words. So really cute. All right, so I'm going to be using some Brutus Monroe Not Your Mama's cardstock. This is like the best cardstock. It's smooth and it's thick, and it just definitely creates a perfect for a one-layer stamp. So stamp one-layer card. Okay. Hopefully today some of my words will start to make sense in my brain and when they come out of my mouth. I think I'm just nervous because I haven't had a chance to make a video in 6 days. So anyways, this is a great cardstock. It's 130 pounds. It's really, really thick, and it almost feels like you have two pieces stuck together. So that's going to be my base. And I'll go ahead and get started by just stamping by hand the donuts. And I'm going to be doing some masking again today. My last video I did some masking, and I wanted to do some more today. What I'm going to be using is the Brutus Monroe Raven Detail Ink because it dries really quickly and makes a nice dark impression. All right, so let's go ahead and get our donut stamped here. Right. I have a little bit of ink in the middle of the donut. I don't think it's going to matter, but I don't want to take any chances. So if you'll give me 1 second here, I'm going to clean that with my microfiber towel. I don't trust that I wouldn't ruin the card right off the bat with that. Okay, try again here. All right, so my first donut is going to go right about here. I'm just going to hold down on that for a minute, give it a chance to absorb into the paper. Let that ink settle in. Perfect. All right, now I'm going to take a mask, cover up what I just stamped. Now these masks I made out of Post-it paper, ultra sticky Post-it paper. It's called super sticky Post-it paper. It's sticky all the way through from top to bottom. So it makes really good masking paper. There's a lot of great masking papers on the market too. But this is pretty nice because I seem to make a lot of masks these days, and it just seems to be, I don't know if it's more affordable than regular masking paper, but it seems to be more convenient just to have that Post-it note handy. Now this donut's going to be going off the page a little bit, but I want to make sure that I don't send it too far off the page. I want to be able to see the hole, the donut hole. Okay, so I've got that one. And then number 3, you guessed it, is going on the other side. I'm going to make sure that my mask is nice and close to that line. What I'm trying to do is make sure that when I lay my mask down, I'm really close to that line. Now you might think that really doesn't matter too much, but it seems to make a big difference, and it seems to keep the image, it just seems to be laying out better that way. Whereas if I get all sloppy and my mask is tilted a little bit one way or the other, there's this gap I have to deal with. And this, you can see, is really, I don't know how else to explain it. It's keeping everything really tight together. Okay, now this one, I don't have to be so close because I've got a little bit of space here. And it doesn't have to be even. It doesn't have to be even with this one. Actually, I think it looks cuter if it's not even. I'm gonna just tilt this a little bit. I want it to be facing, you'll see what I'm doing here. The icing part of it, I want to be facing this way. Now, it just happened that that's pretty even with this one, but really I wasn't planning on doing that. Doesn't have to be even. So there you can see the masked images, how close they are together. There's not that much of a gap. I have a little bit of a gap here. It's nothing really. It's nothing to be concerned about. All right. So for my inks to color the glaze on the Yummy Donuts, I have another part of this stamp set. So it's a solid image, and I'm just going to grab a round. I thought I had another round acrylic block. In the meantime, I will just peel this one off. This goes right on top, and it lines up so with the icing. So the point of the icing is right here, and I don't have any ink on it right now. I'm just going to show you. And it lines up really nicely and creates that glaze. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty neato how it works. So I'm going to be using some dye inks. These are from Color Philosophy. I got these because they're magnetic ink pads. They click together and they stack together, and I have like 12 of them, and they make it really nice because they don't take up a lot of space on my desk. But these are created by Prima Crafts, I think. Yeah, and they are called Color Philosophy dye ink. So the first color I'm using is called Frosting. How appropriate. It's called Frosting. And it's going to be our pink frosting. Now I don't have to mask this one because this is my main image. So I'm pressing rather hard. I really want to get that ink to really stick to that stamp. You know, dye inks are a little bit splotchy, but that's okay. It's going to be fine because that's how icing is, right? It's not necessarily thick all the time, especially on a glazed donut. So here you'll see I'm just trying to line things up. And I'll probably mess it up because I'm nervous. Because I've done a prototype of this card before, but never while recording. All right, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Do the best you can with the lining it up. It's going to look nice no matter what. It's a pretty pink donut. All right. So there you go. So yeah, it's a little splotchy, but it's okay with me. It's all right with me. I think it's going to look really cute. So I put my little sprinkles on it. Yeah. Now I'm going to grab a mask and mask what I just did and go over to the donut to the right. And we're going to use a purple color. And this purple is called Amethyst. Yep, Amethyst was the one. All right, Amethyst, here we go. And where do I find my image? Let's see. How do I find where to line up here? Just going to keep twirling it until I find the spot. I think the spot is up here. Yeah, that's it, I think. Because I have half of it stamped off to the side. This one's a little bit more tricky to figure out. Okay, so I think this is where it goes. Yep, that's the spot. That is the correct spot. Okay. And if I'm not right, well, that's okay, because it's a donut and the icing melts and it gets all sticky and it gets everywhere anyways. All right, so I'm not going for perfection here, folks. Okay. All right, this will make a nice light purple color. All right, there must have been something on my stamp because there's a little spot there. And what I found was I have these little daubing sticks. And I found that if I have a spot that needs to be fixed, I can just go in and daub it out a little bit. Okay, and if you really wanted to fill in the color, you can. Like if you really weren't happy with that splotchy kind of look, you know, you could go ahead in with one of these daubers or some other type of dauber. I know they have those little fingertip ones. And you see, you could go in and just stamp some ink down with that dauber. I'll just go ahead and go around here and blend it a little bit. Okay, next we'll go over and do the other side. And the color that I picked for this last donut is called Peony. It's actually like a pinkish orange. I know it looks like, what is she putting that color on a donut for? But it turns out really cute in the end, so trust me, it's going to be cute. All right, okay, make sure I got the purple ink off. All right. All right, also, I just want to adjust my mask here just to make sure that it's as close as possible to the edge. I used I think a 2-inch die cut to cut out the donuts. I stamped them on my Post-it paper and then I just used a circle die to cut them. So, that was like a little improvisation. Maybe you have a punch or something that you could use. Anything like that would work. At first I was hand cutting them, and then I watched May do her video on this. This was June's Scripture Stamp Club stamp set, and she used, I think I have this wrong, folks. Here we go. Okay, got it right now. She used a punch, so a punch would work as well. You can always fussy cut it as well. That's fine too. Okay. This reminds me of a coral, this peony color. Then what we'll do is use the same colors for our sprinkles. Now, again, I have a little splotchy area there. So I'm going to grab a dauber. Just give me a second to get one out of my drawer here. I'm going to get a smaller one. They come in packs like this. You'll see them like at Michael's and Joann's. It's for clothing, I guess. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm no expert. I'm just someone who's having fun with ink. All right, so let me slide one of these out. Okay. Let's open up our peony again. We'll fill that in a little bit. Okay. I'm not going to go I'm not worried about it too much. I'm just wanting to get some coverage. Okay. Now, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted that to look like. So I am going to take another extra step, and I punched out these little donut holes just to protect the donut hole area from me going, and when I go to put the little sprinkles on, I'm very likely to put sprinkles. It doesn't matter, they're just sprinkles, but this, just bear with me folks. I'm just trying to make it as nice as possible. Just a little trick that I'm doing here to mask out the area that has the hole in it. So whenever I go to put my sprinkles on, I don't overlap in that area. All right. All right, so we've got all kinds of different sprinkles. All right, so let me clean my stamp off here. Get my stamp ready. Okay, get my block ready. All right, the kind of looks like a boomerang. It's kind of cute. And for this, I'll start with the first donut, which is the one in the middle. All right, and I'll give it some coral colored sprinkles. These are summertime donuts, folks. Breaking out the summertime colors. Oh, isn't that adorable? I think that is so cute. Okay, and we'll twist it around here and go to this side. Yummy. Go with this color one more time, then I'm going to grab a different color. So they overlap a little bit, that doesn't matter. Now I'm going to use some of the amethyst, which was the color that I used for the purple donut. And if you want to, you can switch to the other set of sprinkles. They're a little bit wider than this set, shaped more like a U than a V. You can even just tap the ends just to strategically place the sprinkles. Okay, I'm happy. That's fine. That's enough sprinkles on that one. Now for my next set of sprinkles, I'm going to move on to the purple donut, and it's a pretty dark color, so I have to use this hydrangea petals. The other colors didn't seem to show up very well. This has like a little plastic cover. Let me pull it off here. Okay, I think the hydrangea petals was what I used when I made my prototype card. Yeah, they're like a blue. So, no, those are definitely showing up nice. All right, I'm going to switch back to the smaller, like the V shaped, because I have a pretty tight squeeze here because part of my image is stamped off the page. All right, I'm just strategically placing these cute sprinkles all over the donut. Okay. And then our final, which is our coral colored, I can pretty much put any color on top of that. It seems to show up, except for the coral. So I'm not going to use coral. Let's try the pink, which is frosting. We'll see if this shows up. Not really. So we'll switch to amethyst, which is the color of the purple donut. These little stacking ink pads are pretty cool. I ordered these a while ago off of Scrapbooking Made Simple. I'm really pleased that I got them, because when I'm looking for a larger ink pad that has, now here I'm going to have to mask, otherwise I'm going to end up getting these sprinkles on that donut. I mean, I have my Memento inks, which are great. You know, they're nice and small. Sometimes you want something bigger. Now, I got a little bit of ink on my card, but that's okay, because I'm going to be putting some ink as a background on there. So hopefully I can just blend that. Didn't mean to do that. I must have rubbed my block against there. I'm not sure how I did that. All right, I'm just going through now and putting these sprinkles on this donut with the amethyst. And then I'll put some of the hydrangea petals, which is a slightly different color. I'll switch to these. They're all the same size sprinkles. It's just that the stamps are shaped in different directions. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. I'm getting ink on my acrylic block. That's why I'm getting a little bit of ink to the side of each donut. Now, if you do make something like that, as far as like a boo-boo, a whoopsie, and you really aren't satisfied until you either start all over again, which can be very time consuming, or you just, you know, you can either blend in your ink over top of it, which you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to use some distressed ink and sort of ground these donuts, or you could take your sand eraser. So this is my sand eraser. Just make sure it's clean. I use this for pan pastels. You can erase or try to erase some of that ink right off of your paper. But again, I'm not too worried about it, so I'm not even going to concern myself with it. Besides, it's not coming up anyways with that. I guess there's only certain types of inks that works with, not these dye-based inks. All right, let me get rid of the little Post-it notes off of the donut hole. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mask them again. Now, this is a fresh mask that I've never used before. It's without the stamped image, and it's basically that 2-inch punch that not punch, but 2-inch die cut. I'm just going to go ahead and cover that. And then I'll go ahead and use some distress ink. And the color I'm using is Tumbled Glass. All right, I'm just going to blend a little bit around the donuts, just so that they're not like so stark, sitting in this stark white space, just to give it a little bit of, you know, like a background. And I'm not blending the whole card. I'm just going to blend around the donuts. This, like I said, I feel, you know, it just kind of softens it a little bit so it's not so stark, this white. This is a 1-layer card, so we're not doing a lot with the background. I mean, you can do a lot with the background with the 1-layer of card, but I guess this is more of a clean and simple look. You can use any color. It doesn't have to be blue. You know, you could use pink, which would be close to the frosting color on the donut. Or like a light purple even. I'm stamping this off a little bit so I don't get a lot of blue circles or harsh lines that would come off of my blending tool. All right, so let's lift our masks and see what we think. Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, so you can still see my boo-boo, my little oopsie, and I'm not worrying about it. I could cover it with sprinkles to mask it. That's another option. All right. I want to get my Copic markers and color the bottom of the donuts to make them look like a glazed donut. So I'm just going to use a light color of tan, which I'm going to use a color that's called sand. So let me just grab that marker. And this is E33. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and color in the ridges. I mean the edges, not the ridges, but the little edges here. And also the edges here on the donut hole. I hope everybody's having a really good day, and thank goodness it's Friday. Excited. Tomorrow's my family reunion, so it's a pretty big day for us. We have it every year at my dad's house. And it's sad because a lot of my aunts and uncles have passed away, so we don't have as many people that we used to have. But that's okay. The ones that we have a lot of fun, and we get to visit each other and eat really good food. And I'm making taco salad, which is my go-to summertime picnic food. I'm pretty well known for my taco salad. Everybody who's had it pretty much likes it. And if they don't like it, they don't tell me, but I get a lot of requests for it. People will say, will you bring your taco salad? Will you make taco salad? So I guess that means that I'm pretty good at making taco salad. And normally I make a dessert, but because it's so hot, the heat index tomorrow here in Western Pennsylvania is going to be over 100. We're not used to that kind of heat around here. We live in the mountains where it doesn't get that hot normally. I'm just worried that any dessert that I would make would melt. I usually make a dessert that's like, I'll make a strawberry pretzel salad, which, you have to keep that refrigerated or definitely out of the heat, or else it just turns to melt. I also have a chocolate chip cookie cheesecake that I like to make, but again, I don't know. I don't even know that I'll be hungry tomorrow because it's going to be so hot. I'd rather have a fruit salad or something, or just nibble on a cookie. I just don't feel like making any heavy desserts, so I'm not going to. There'll be plenty of desserts there, Lord knows. All right, so here's what I was saying about trying to get your mask as close as possible to the donut. So you can see there's like this white line there. That's because I didn't mask as close as I should have, or I didn't move my mask. I think I masked really close on the top, but here on the bottom side of the donut, I need to get a little bit closer. So I'm just going to color that spot in that I missed. I think they're really looking cute. Okay. And we'll go back over it with more Distress ink so that that white area there is blended. To the best that I can. It's probably going to look like a cloud or something, since I didn't catch that right off the bat. I forgot to move my masks. Tracy's tip, move your masks. Make sure that they're as close as possible to the line of your stamp. Oh well, it's just going to be darker on the bottom than it is on the top with the blue. You can pretend it's on a blue tabletop or something. And really, that's the only way that I'm going to get rid of this line, is if I go a little bit darker on the bottom, which is fine. Okay, and it's just lighter on the top. All right. Off the masks go. I save these masks for the next time I make this card, which I'm sure I will. Make another one. I think they're really cute. See that I missed a little spot here with my coloring. See if I missed any more spots till I finish this card. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to put some sprinkles around the bottom. Because you know how it is. When you grab for the donut out of the box, the sprinkles kind of fall off. So I thought I would try the amethyst color. Okay, so let's grab some sprinkles. Oh, there are already some on my block. Just a little bit, not a lot. Cute. Oh my goodness, I found another little gap where I need to blend. I thought I had my mask lined up pretty good, but there's another spot. You can always go back in and fix that. Save your masks for when you, I think I just said that, sorry. Save your masks for when you make this card again. Because I have a little bit of a boo-boo, I am going to put some of these sprinkles on the top. In my prototype card, I didn't put any sprinkles on top, just on the bottom. But I have a pretty big boo-boo here. Little oopsie. Try to stop tilting my block. That's how I'm getting this oopsie to happen over and over again. Tilting my block and I'm getting ink on it. Okay. I'll go ahead and put a couple more sprinkles around. Okay, that's good. Maybe one more right here. Oh, I don't have any ink on it. Okay, I'm gonna stop now before I get carried away with my sprinkles. Sometimes I forget less is more when you're making little decorations on the cards. Now let's go ahead and ink our sentiment. I'm going to use black ink, the Brutus Monroe Raven Detail ink. It says, pray about it, do not worry about it. Just want to make sure that ink is nice and dark. I'm going to get one shot to lay this down, unless I use my Misty. I'm not going to use my Misty. Okay, that's better. Make sure I get this somewhat straight. All right, that looks nice. The final thing before I say goodbye, I'm going to use glossy accents to create glaze on the middle donut. So here I've got my glossy accents. This is a stopper topper. You can get them from MayMayMadeIt.com. I use it for my glossy accents because this was the only thing that I owned that kept clogging, and this was the only thing that I could do to keep it from clogging. It was clogging all the time. It was just, you know, getting on my nerves the way it was clogging so much. And then when I started using that pin for the stopper topper, it stopped clogging. And I mean, it sat there. I haven't used it. Well, I used it to make my prototype card, but before that I hadn't used it for months, and started, you know, coming out right at the first try. So it definitely works, the Stopper Topper. So I'm putting down a nice layer of glossy accents. The glossy accents take a while to dry, so you have to let them sit overnight. But when it does dry, we'll have a nice shiny glazed donut here on top. Other things you might want to consider for your embellishment, you could use Nuvo drops to make your sprinkles. You don't have to use the stamped sprinkles that came with the stamp set. You could use the Nuvo drops instead. I'm not really good with Nuvo drops. I think they're gorgeous and I love them. I can't get the consistency. So I'm okay with using Nuvo drops like for a little, you know, 3 accents on a front of a card, but to do them all the way across the donut and to have them as nice as these, no, I couldn't do that. All right, I'm just filling in. I want to make sure I just want to make sure I have it covered completely. I don't want to miss any spots because then it would look really funny. It just looks like, you know, it just looks like when you don't have your Nuvo, and that's a pretty big area right now to cover. You want to make sure you get coverage all over it because if you miss a spot, it's really noticeable. It just looks so plain. It doesn't look glossy if you don't. All right, so I think I did an okay job on my Nuvo drops. Let me just hold it up here so I can see it a little bit. And I'll hold it up for you so you can see it. Oh, pretty. I mean, Nuvo drops. Those aren't Nuvo drops. These are glossy accents. My goodness, I think I need a nap or something. I can't even talk right today. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, folks. I hope you enjoyed my video and my jabbering didn't get too much on your nerves. I would like to encourage you, if you're new to my channel, to please subscribe. If you like my video, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more of the cards that I make, you are welcome to join me on my blog, thehopefulcrafter.blogspot.com. I also am on Instagram, Schultz551. And if you send me an email to thehopefulcrafter@gmail.com, if you want a card from me, you can send me an email and I'd be happy to mail you a card out. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.